The Lexus ISF is the first ever performance car released by Lexus's F division, which stands for Flagship, and also the Fuji Speedway in Japan. Everybody knows about the Lexus LFA, the 10-cylinder monster, which sounds amazing. But not many people know about this, the ISF, released by Lexus as their first ever sports car. And today, I'm going to review it. This one here is a 2011 model, and I borrowed it from a friend of mine over at PEC Australia, which sells a huge variety of different car parts, cheaper than what your local mechanic can probably sell it at. So do check them out in the link below. I want to start off this review by having a look at the styling of this thing. Now, for a V8 naturally aspirated car, it really is erring on the side of boring. In fact, you would be hard pressed to have a look at this car and be able to tell the difference between this and an IS250 unless you knew exactly what you're looking at. Of course, there are some big differences between this and the IS250. It wouldn't be called the ISF and wouldn't have been charged for around $150,000 new if it wasn't because of that. So what we have here is we have a bigger bumper here, allows more air to go through. I guess that's the theory anyway. We have the naturally aspirated V8 engine under here, so they've had to raise up the bonnet, so it's got a bigger bump to it, which makes it look a bit more aggressive, a bit nicer as well.
The car also has these absolutely gorgeous grey rims on it, which I think just look absolutely stunning. It's also got a blue F badge. Now, you know that this is a real ISF because it's blue. If it was just a package, it would be in grey. And it also has these vents on the side, which I think look really good. How functional they are, I don't really know. In fact, I would go so far as to say they're not very functional, but I think they still add a nice look to the car.
Of course, probably one of the most distinguishing ways that you can tell this is from Lexus's F division is because it has the quad exhaust at the back, which in this setup I think looks absolutely stunning. Now, it is true that between 2007 to 2010, these bottom inserts here, they aren't real. It was just a dual exhaust and a little nub kind of muffler coming out the back of it. But I'm glad to say that from 2011 until this car finished its production run, they are real exhausts. Well, they're real inserts anyway, and there are quad exhausts, but as I said, they're these little tiny muffler things which really, they look pretty ugly. But I think otherwise that this looks absolutely stunning, and I think really makes the character of this car. And of course, it would be rude of me not to play the note of this exhaust. Now let's get to the guts of the ISF. Now here you're looking at a 5-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine pumping out 311 kilowatts of power at 505 newton meters of torque as well. But there's a reason that you don't see too many ISFs around, and there's a couple of reasons for that. It is not a bad car by any stretch of the imagination, but it was coming out at a time when there was stiff competition. As I was saying, the BMW M3 at the time just came out with a V8 engine and was faster than this car, as was the C63 AMG that had also come out with a really powerful 5.5-litre V8 that put out more power again than the ISF. Both were about 20 or 25,000 Australian dollars more than this car, but the issue was that Mercedes and BMW, they have racing heritage. Lexus was an old people's car. It was a car for old people, and this was their first attempt at building a 5-litre V8 into their car. So really, no one knew if this car was going to be reliable. I mean, it was coming from Lexus, but they're shoehorning in a huge V8 into a existing kind of car. So what kind of reliability issues would that have? And also, Lexus isn't a BMW, and Lexus isn't a Mercedes. It isn't, and it still is not to this day. So really, there were a few issues that this car had coming up against it, but this was still a fantastic engine, and it still is to this day. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, no manual, unfortunately. But that doesn't stop anything about this car being a monster. It is still a mid-sized sedan, rear-wheel drive that will do 0 to 62 miles per hour in about 4.8 seconds. It is still very, very fast, incredibly capable, and the engine sounds beautiful. It doesn't have the best exhaust note out there. It's not the meanest exhaust note out there, but I still think it sounds really, really good. Now, the interior of this car, I think, is incredibly understated. It is a little bit boring, I'll admit it. It's a Toyota in its essence, so it is a tiny bit boring. But these seats here, even after about 8 years of use, are still beautiful. I think that this white and black contrasting interior looks so, so good. These seats are incredibly comfortable. They grip you in all the right places, and yet they are still very, very comfortable to sit in on longer journeys as well. And so I think that these seats are just the bomb. The bomb. Otherwise, as I said, the interior is kind of Toyota. I mean, it does have this really cool and real carbon weaving throughout the center console, which I think looks great. It's also on the door handles as well. We have this blue kind of stitching throughout the interior, which looks really nice, and of course is for the F of Lexus ISF. And the steering wheel as well, it is quite nice. It has the F blue down the bottom. Otherwise, it is comfortable, it's thick, it's good to grip. It is showing its age though, and these paddles as well. I don't know, they could feel a bit stronger. They're just a bit on the flimsy side, but there isn't too much to complain. We have to remember that this car came out in 2011. It does not have a fully digital display. It doesn't have the softest and nicest materials, but they're still very, very good. And I think up there with definitely some of the better car makers out there. I can't show you the interior of this car either without showing you just how special it is to turn on this car. Now here is the steering wheel. As I said, I think it is absolutely gorgeous, but when you open this up, just get that beautiful kind of tachometer there right in the center. You've got your speedo down on the right and just your basic engine warning kind of temperature, things like that. But I just think this is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so excited to be able to take this car on its drive. Getting into the back as well isn't too difficult. It is a mid-size sedan, but this is in a normal seating position, and really it's quite comfortable back here. Interestingly, the ISF is the only car in the IS range that has a 4-seat configuration. The IS 250 and above, they have a 3-seat in the back, but in the ISF it's a 2-seat. But it's so comfortable back here. There's leather everywhere. You feel wrapped and cocooned in leather. It's got a massive center console as well, where it just feels substantial and comfortable. Again, in this black, I guess it's more of a blue, really, like a navy blue. It's also got this really cool stitching down here with the F logo in there. I can't imagine how long that would have taken to stitch in there if it was done by hand, although really, who knows. And just like the front of this car, we have blue stitching at the back here, all leather, all very nice. And we have that imperfect carbon weave running throughout here, which just makes the car feel extra sporty, even if you are a back passenger. And because it is a mid-size family sedan, of course, we can't leave this car without talking about its boot. Its boot is a standard boot. It's the boot that you would find on any other IS model. It does have this cool L effect running all throughout the boot, which makes it feel just more Lexus-y. Lexus is also kind enough, of course, because they are a premium brand, to give you a nicely leather-cladded warning triangle, just in case you guys get stuck and you need a triangle. But it is beautiful. It's a really nice leather pouch. I can't imagine how much that would have cost, and it's a bit of a waste of money, to be honest, but it's there, so. Now it's time to take this monster out onto the roads and see exactly how it drives. All right, starting the ISF. Naturally aspirated, beautiful sound. I love it, 2 bits. Now, as I turn it on to a very quiet residential street, I do want to say thank you very much for clicking on this video. This is my first time reviewing a car. I love cars to bits. I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but I do love cars to bits, so thank you very much for watching. I don't have the best setup right now with the camera. My lovely girlfriend is holding on to the phone, but I hope it will be good just for this video. Next video will make it a bit better. But anyway, again, thank you so much for watching this video up to this point. It means a lot, and I really hope you guys do like it. Shameless plug here, do subscribe, like, comment down below, get this algorithm going for YouTube, so that way we can get more videos out. I just really want to be able to review other cars and just have a lot of fun doing it. That's really all I want. Oh, thank you, sir. So the Lexus ISF is one of those cars that is completely, in my opinion, understated. It is one of those cars that you don't see very often for the reasons that I said about the BMW and the Mercedes, just, I guess, being better pedigrees, faster cars, a bit more expensive, but people wanted, you know, an AMG over a Lexus ISF, and that is understandable. The owner of this car bought it because it is a rare car and it's still great to drive, and it's very, very reliable. Classic Lexus, classic Toyota Group is a very reliable car. And it's also very fun to drive, as I will show you shortly. So putting it into sport mode now, it doesn't do too much, to be honest, but you can feel the throttle kind of tighten up. You can definitely feel that the car just wants to go. And I'll open it up in a second. It doesn't instantly pull you back like you might expect, but it does have that beautiful V8 sound, and that kind of, it just puts a big smile on your face, and it makes you want to drive this car more and more and more. I unfortunately do not own a V8 myself. I own a Ford Falcon Ute, if any of you know what that is. But it is a fantastic, fantastic car to drive. I want to get it onto a slightly more open road so I can let it go a bit more. But going over and driving normally, it's a very comfortable daily driver, and that's what you'll see a lot of people saying, especially on forums and whatnot. It is very easy to live with. It is not a car that has kind of all these, you know, automatic kind of adjusting suspension. It doesn't have adaptive dampers. That's what I was trying to say. It doesn't have adaptive dampers. It just has general suspension, but it's so easy to live with. And at the moment, you can pick up one of these cars for around 36,000 Australian dollars, which is shit all. For most people, when they see this car, they're going to see it and be like, this car is, well, it's nothing. It's just a Lexus. But they don't know that underneath it is a naturally aspirated beast of an engine. Very fast to drive. With this car, you can tell that it is a fast car, but it doesn't. And that's 70. Okay, you know what? I take that back. I was gonna give a caveat to saying that it was a fast car, but no, this is a fast car. You can tell that it's a fast car there. And when you change over to manual mode, the tacho goes up, and you can see just how it drives, and I think that's really special. But yeah, would I get this car over a similar M5 or or C63? Sorry, M3 or C63? The answer is maybe, but that maybe also comes a lot down to the price. They sell for about double what these are selling for at the moment, so that is something to consider as well. And that is the ISF. It certainly isn't a BMW M5, and it's certainly not an AMG C63, but it is a Lexus ISF, and I think that makes it so special. For their first ever attempt at a sports car, I think Lexus did a pretty good job. And I want to thank you very much for watching this video. It was my first ever time making a video on a car, so thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking through if you have made it all the way to the end. Please do subscribe if you are new. Like, comment, share. I'd love to see you all around and interact with all of you. And let me know what you guys think I should do next. Thank you.